If you're a DC fan, wow, the last few weeks have been an absolute whirlwind, right? Today, we are going to sort through all of it. The confirmed news, the rumors that just won't die, and yeah, even some of the online drama to give you the clearest possible picture of what is going on in the DC multiverse.
Okay, let's just dive right in. We're basically juggling 3 different worlds of DC content right now. You've got James Gunn's brand new DCU, then there's the totally separate, self-contained universe of Matt Reeves' The Batman, and of course that lingering question about the Snyderverse. We are going to touch on all 3, but let's start with the official new chapter, and the movie that's kicking the whole thing off.
So first up, let's look at the 2 Kryptonian cousins. Their projects are literally setting the foundation for everything that's about to come in the new DCU. With Man of Tomorrow getting closer and closer to filming, it feels like the cast list just keeps growing every single day. And you know, with every new name that drops, the fan debate just gets louder and louder. Is this really a solo Superman story, or is it secretly something way, way bigger?
I mean, just look at this roster. Of course, you've got your essential Superman crew, Clark, Lois, and Lex, but then you start adding confirmed heroes like Hawkgirl and the Green Lantern John Stewart, and that's not even mentioning the very credible rumors about Martian Manhunter and others. It kind of feels less like a simple cast list and more like a Justice League roll call, doesn't it?
So yeah, this massive cast has led so many fans to ask this exact question. Is this a Superman-focused story, or is James Gunn actually giving us a secret Justice League movie right out of the gate? Now, Gunn himself has clarified the title is simply Man of Tomorrow, maybe to kind of manage those expectations a little bit.
And while Superman is busy setting up that big picture, his cousin, Kara Zor-El, is making some serious waves all on her own. The early test screenings for the Supergirl movie have been just overwhelmingly positive. We're hearing people call it wonderful and moving, which is just a fantastic sign for the film. You know, this quote from the star, Millie Alcock, really gives us a great window into the film's theme. It suggests we're getting a story that's maybe less about superpowers and more about the messy, real journey of self-acceptance. The idea that it's okay to be flawed. That's a really powerful and, frankly, a very human message for a Kryptonian hero.
So all this really points to a true origin story, you know, in the classic sense. We're going to meet a Supergirl who, at first, does not want to be a hero. And the whole movie will be about her journey to finally embrace who she is and the incredible responsibility that comes with it.
Okay, so beyond the big screen, the DCU is also growing on television, and it's doing it with some surprisingly unique and honestly pretty experimental shows.
One of the most unique ideas we've heard about is this upcoming Jimmy Olsen series. It's not just a straightforward adventure show, no. Instead, it's taking on this very specific genre, a true crime mockumentary.
So the whole idea is that Jimmy, in his job as a photojournalist, is hosting this investigative show, and he's trying to uncover the truth behind Gorilla Grodd, a super smart ape who got psychic powers. It's just a wonderfully grounded and clever way to bring such a wild comic book concept into this brand new universe.
But it hasn't all been smooth sailing on the TV side. The hugely anticipated Lantern series hit a major bump when the producer, Damon Lindelof, made this kind of off-the-cuff remark. He suggested the green in Green Lantern was dumb, and that's why the show is just called Lanterns. Yikes.
Well, the backlash was immediate, and it was led by none other than the legendary comic book writer Grant Morrison. He fired back hard, basically arguing that anyone who doesn't get the power and the history behind the name Green Lantern really has no business adapting the material in the first place.
As you can imagine, the controversy led to a very, very swift public apology from Lindelof. He called his own joke dumb, said he loved the characters and the color green itself, and promised to just let the final show do the talking. Now, not every project that was announced in that initial DCU slate is moving at the same speed. 2 in particular seem to be stuck in that infamous Hollywood limbo we call development purgatory.
And you can see why there's so much confusion. Sergeant Rock is officially in development, but it feels like it's constantly being pushed back. And for Booster Gold, the writer swears it's still alive, but his recent social media activity has fans pretty convinced it's in trouble. Look, this happens all the time in Hollywood when a studio's bigger strategy shifts and it leaves some announced projects without a clear path forward. For now, it seems like both of these are on the back burner.
So while the main DCU is getting built out, Matt Reeves' Gotham is just getting darker and more complex in its own separate Elsewheres universe, and all eyes are on the Batman Part 2 because it sounds like some major players are about to join the game.
Okay, so the strongest rumors, the ones everyone's talking about, point to the introduction of a huge Gotham City player, District Attorney Harvey Dent. The story will supposedly see him form this really uneasy alliance with Batman and Jim Gordon as they try to take down a new serial killer and the city's deeply rooted mafia.
This would be incredible because it sets the stage for one of the greatest tragedies in all of comics. We'd get to see Harvey Dent as Gotham's White Knight, fighting for justice, only for the events of this very film to start his inevitable, heartbreaking transformation into Two-Face.
And the excitement isn't just coming from fans. The star himself, Robert Pattinson, has been praising the script, promising that the sequel is going to be really distinctive and will try some bold things, which suggests we are in for some seriously unexpected turns.
And finally, we have to address the legion of fans who are still hoping for a continuation of Zack Snyder's universe, especially after the recent anniversary at the Snyder Cut's release.
So, while Zack Snyder absolutely celebrated the anniversary on social media, there was no surprise announcement. The posts made it pretty clear that, for a bunch of different reasons, a continuation of his story is just not on the cards right now.
And it's really important to understand this isn't just a creative decision, it's a logistics thing. With James Gunn's DCU now the main focus and a massive corporate merger still getting settled, launching a second competing live-action universe just doesn't make any business sense. Like a lot of people have suggested, if we ever do see a continuation, animation really seems to be the only path that's truly viable.
And that leaves us with one last big question. As DC focuses all its resources on building out these two distinct, massive universes on screen, you really have to wonder, what other Elseworlds tales or cool standalone stories might get left on the cutting room floor? It's a brand new era for DC, and you can bet we'll be watching to see how it all unfolds.